I think it's about to work. Oh, it's about to work, and oh, it worked!
PUNstoppable Force.
Welcome to the PUNstoppable Force. I am Jordan. This is Miles.
Miles, or Miles, a black guy.
Yeah.
As they call it.
We needed more diversity on the show, and our resident Asian just didn't cut it because, face it, he hasn't been showing up to work because he has, school. Yeah, I have school too, but
Exactly. I go to the same school that you go to, and it's just one of those things, man. It's just gotta roll with the roll. That made any sense.
Hopefully he can come on tonight's podcast. Like, spoiler, he won't. I ran into him today, and he's like, bro, good news, I can record tonight. And I'm looking on Skype, and he's clearly away. And,
every day. In my case with other people, yeah.
no, but, I couldn't talk to him for long because, I was being pulled away. I have a free third block, but, so during that, I was being pulled away by, like, this school, counselor of some sort, because I was getting, like, testing done for, like, perhaps, like, the school can help me because I have a few disorders like ADHD and stuff like that. Basically, the whole time, I really didn't want to be there, so a few times I was just a sarcastic dick about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love doing that. I mean, especially when they're like, some math teachers, not gonna say any names, or I don't know, hell, I don't know. No, I'm not gonna say names.
No, we're not gonna say names on the show. Fuck that.
Yeah, well, he's just like, this guy's great. He's the most passive-aggressive son of a piece of shit bitch there is. He just loves to actually, like, be like, oh, well, let's see here. We're gonna give you...
Oh, God, I know exactly what you're talking
a
about.
little bit of work. We're gonna give you, like, work, and you're gonna get, like, study this, and then we're gonna give you a test with the absolutely opposite thing and see how good you do. But you're obviously gonna fail until, like, a brainiac, so... today I was doing it, and it was just like trying to pull teeth out of any sedatives. It was just like burning, and I had to do it. I had to fist up on Monday because it was just impossible. It was just fucking impossible.
Yeah, I think I might have had a class with him if I think I know who you're talking about. And so in like art class today, our teacher like made some example about like copying off a math test, and it made me remember this story of something hilarious that happened when I was in Algebra 2. So, pretty much, like, he said, like, you can either, like, not know the answers and just, like, take the E, or you can try to, like, copy off someone else. So, the story reminded me of, like, both those things happening. Like, I completely didn't know the answers to this test, so I just gave, like, fucking stupid answers.
Oh, I was having to say, like one of the questions was, like, how can you prove this is an isosceles triangle? I was just gonna put, because it's an isosceles triangle. Because, I mean, he obviously wasn't showing how the fuck to prove it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll put how, like, I know, obviously, it's an isosceles triangle. I drew it, so, ta-da!
So, I was giving, like, bullshit answers, like, just writing stuff that didn't make any sense, and, like, I had to draw these graphs, and, so I'd, like, draw, like, symbols from, like, circuitry, and then I noticed the kid sitting across from me is, like, looking at my paper, kind of, and I thought he might be just looking around, and then, like, not to cheat or anything, but just to see what was happening, I looked at his paper, and he was copying my answers. I was like, oh my god, this is great.
That's perfect! Oh, man, that would have been awesome. I would just laugh my ass off.
But back to the whole thing about the testing. So like I don't know what they were testing me for, but the first part of the test was like I had to look at pictures of people like displaying emotions and figure out like what emotion they were trying to like explain. Like I don't like this test is below me.
Oh, this guy just looks constipated, just straight up like he's trying to like take a
I think I said that about one of the people. So like there was this one where there's this one like this the first one was this picture of this one girl who's smiling and this other girl who's looking at her and frowning, and she's like, what do you see here? And I'm like, well, clear, like if you were like, say you're this girl, what's going through your head? I'm like, well, she's clearly contemplating how to. She's contemplating murder. She's gonna kill
like,
that
I don't
other
like
girl.
your fucking
She's
smile.
like, why would
It's
she
like
kill her?
something
I'm like, because she can't figure out why she won't stop smiling.
Why are you smiling at
And
nothing? I can't smile at it. This is sad.
And like, I answered a few questions with like murder, and there was like this one of like this black guy in like a green and lighter green striped sweater, and he was like sitting on a couch, like a big red chair, holding a remote, and it's like, what's going through your head? I'm like, why am I black? Blues Clues.
Oh my god, this thing
Is this gonna be like a new like black?
Yeah, it's so diversity in the TV shows now. It's like, oh, let's have next time let's have an Asian guy come in.
What if
like
like
an
Dora
Asian
the
guy.
Explorer was Asian?
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Also, there was I'm trying to remember other. It was like problem solving, and like some of the questions got pretty serious. Like, one of them was like, so one of your friends confides in you and tells you that they're like being physically abused
Holy
at
crap.
home. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't
But
know
they
what the
made you
fuck to do.
promise not. They're like, what would you do in this situation? And I'm like, well, there are a few ways you could solve this situation. Like, you could go against their wishes and call CPS. Or you could just murder the person abusing them. She's like, well, we don't want to resort to violence. I'm like, yeah, I do.
Maybe I do.
Kill that fucker. I'm like, yeah, you don't know me. Yeah, I'll kill that guy. She's like, well, but we don't want to resort to violence. I'm like, why? I mean,
The parents are.
I wouldn't feel. I was like, I wouldn't feel a shred of empathy towards that as long as I didn't get caught. And so,
they're beating their child, so why not beat them down?
so, like, one of them was like, a friend of yours tells you that she knows of this one girl in school who got pregnant.
Like, oh.
What do you do? And I'm like, try hard not to laugh. That's hilarious. And then she's like, okay, next question. And I'm like, hold up, wait, did my friend tell me who it was who's pregnant? And she's like, no. I'm like, what? Well, I'm gonna ask her who it was.
Well, what can I ask her? And speaking about weird things, a little bit about me, myself, because, I'm kind of new to the show, which is awesome. Ron's a really good friend of mine. But I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and, my parents, they got married there. I was born there, and they told me these really great stories about subways. Now, I don't know if you've ever ridden a subway, but they are the most creepiest pieces of shit ever. I mean, especially in New York. I mean, I've only been there back once, just 1 year. I gotta tell you, I mean, it just smelled like urine. And it was, like, the ones in, like, I know, man. The ones in Washington are not so bad. The metros are actually pretty good. They're really clean, they're really sanitary. But the ones in New York, it's just like, you'll find like puddles of shit in the seats. But
like those jokes on like TV shows. I think I've seen this a few times. Like, sorry, driver, I kind of made a mess in your bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a bathroom.
Oh my
what are
god,
you talking?
yeah.
Oh god.
That's a definite. Because,
Like, I think I've seen that happen a few times on like Family Guy.
oh my god,
episodes,
true,
like that.
so true. And and in the subway, the bathroom is your seat and your pants. And it's kind of nasty because it happens very often. It happens actually a lot.
I hear like horrible stories of like subway groping.
Oh my god, true.
And stuff like that, just sexual
Oh, I'll
harassment
tell you
on
what,
like
the subway,
subways.
the one I'm about to tell actually I don't know if it has to do with that, it's just awkwardness in general. So my dad, he worked for Sony Studios, he was a music engineer, so he had like the master.
Oh, that's cool.
It's great, I think I'm about doing that. I have no musical skill, but I love to master engineering and music, so But, so they lived in Brooklyn, Sony Studios was in Manhattan, so we had to take the subway home. And he's taking it home, so he's reading, a newspaper, maybe the Village Voice, if you know the Village in Manhattan, really hip town, a lot of cool newspaper stuff. So he's reading it, kind of dozing off.
Yeah, all kinds of
Yeah,
newspapers
exactly.
come from New
Millions,
York.
man. And mind you, this is a very packed car too. There's a lot of people in this car, and he's reading. It's one of those moments. It's like he had to do a double take. He's like, like what the heck? So he's reading it.
That's like the perfect sound effect for a double take. What was that like?
So
It's like if a human chainsaw started laughing. Just...
But it was great because he was reading it and he was looking out the corner of his eye and he notices. He sees something and he goes like, "What? This guy has his mandingo just hanging out on the seat. His dick is just hanging right out there." So my dad's like, "Oh my god, like what the hell?"
Oh my god!
So he looks up the newspaper. The guy looks very formal. He has a suit and tie and a hat. And with a smile on his face, and it's a crowded car, and my dad's like, does this guy just not know that he has
well-dressed man grinning with his
yes,
dick
he
out?
has a huge hole in his pants.
Well, I know what I want to be when I grow
No, a
up.
guy just gets on the subway and just has his mandingo just hanging out on the seat the whole time.
What did you call it? A mandingo?
Yeah, mandingo.
Is that a euphemism for
Yes.
penis? Because I thought I heard all
Yes.
of them, but I've never
That's
heard
Neil's
of that
gonna
one.
put them in the Urban Dictionary. Mandingo under dick.
I'll actually check and see if that's there. But
The Urban Dictionary had like 100 for vagina. It was like fucking ones that didn't even make any. That's another thing. The Urban Dictionary is my bae. No, it's this
Oh,
word. It's
great.
the word.
oh, and if you look up "bay" on Urban Dictionary, it's like Danish slang for poop. Why do people think it means like sweetheart or whatever?
He's your sweetest.
So-
He's your Danish poop. Oh, that's nice.
Like I opened Urban Dictionary to see if Mandingo was in there, and the first thing that pops up is like, cause you know in the mobile version there's like the top, I don't know, like 10 or something
Yes.
page, and the first thing that pops up is "I feel your nuts," and it basically means "I know what you mean." I'm like, what the
You know, I'm just
fuck?
gonna use it now at school, and I'm just gonna go up to like one of our friends. I'm gonna be like, "Well, I feel your nuts," and they're gonna be just like, I'm gonna say in that awkward voice, and they're just gonna look at me and be like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Well, what's up?"
It's like, man, I'm struggling in math class. Yeah, man, I feel your nuts. Excuse me?
Yeah, you're nuts.
I feel your nuts,
Well, you're
man.
nuts, dude.
Oh, dude, Ethan sent me a Snapchat. I really hope it's like gonna be him asking for. Ah! Oh, jeez!
Let's get that pussy now.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be the usual, him being like Skype, bruh. It's, I'm gonna post this in the video. It's him in a fucking, like, unitard.
Oh my god, Ethan, what's wrong with you?
It's like, it's a unitard selfie.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that has to be in the podcast. Oh, that is great.
Yeah, no, I saved that picture on my phone because I'm such an asshole that I have like a few apps that can like save Snapchat snaps. I think they're
Yeah, that's
called
my pet
snaps.
peeve. I always try to save those, and I'm like, how the motherfuck do you save these things? Like, I want to save
Well,
them.
there are a couple ways to save them. There's like you can outright take a screenshot, but what's Snapchat's sneaky about that? They will actually send a notification
Oh, God.
to the other person saying you took a screenshot. So, you know, basically, I mean, there is a good chance Snapchat was basically created for sexting.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Because of just how the whole thing works. And, so basically, I think they were getting a little bit of flack from, like, the media about that. And, like, cause I seen a few articles, like, people be like, oh yeah, it's this new stuff that's totally perverted and shit, and they're like, ah, damn it. So they, like, put in this thing that's like, okay, so now if someone takes a screenshot, cause they're like, oh shit, people found a loophole, like, it'll notify them. But then there are just apps that will, take Snapchat, that are basically, like, they'll work with Snapchat, like, any old Snapchat, and just, like, you don't have to hold it down to look at the picture, and, you don't, like, you can save it, and it won't even notify the other person that you saved it.
This is just
And
good.
you
yeah.
can, like, choose when it's even marked as viewed, so, like, if you just want to see it, but, like, not interact with that person. But, this is absolutely great.
This is like lore. This is heavenly. Look at this. Oh man, that is great. But yeah, I mean, like this one time, me and my cousin, we got really, really fucking bored. So we're like, hey, let's go into Urban Dictionary. So we looked up vagina.
Oh yeah, that's always like the lead to
Oh,
great
totally,
things. And
yeah.
I have a boredom story that is just perfect.
Yes.
So you
Oh
tell
yeah,
yours.
totally, man. Thanks. We looked up vagina, and there was literally
Oh, God.
2 million.
Stuff like the reason, like proof that God exists.
Exactly. It was like fucking 5 million different ways of saying vagina, like different slang terms, to the point that it was like everything that had a hole in it was called a vagina. Like, oh, pencil sharpener. It's like, wow, okay, so like, you know, anything that has a hole in it is not called a vagina. You could call it like, oh, can I see your pencil sharpener? It's like, that'll work.
I was watching this video, and they were talking about how, like, really funny euphemisms for vagina. And someone said, like, meat mitten or
Yeah,
something.
it was like a fucking-
And I almost lost my shit. But, so over Thanksgiving break, which happened about a week ago, so, yeah, over Thanksgiving break, I got so bored at one point that I went online to see if the KKK has a website. And isn't this like the best story ever to share with my black friend? But you know, just to see if they had one, and I in no way support the KKK. They are just.
I saw them once. It was really horrifying, and he was looking at me. I'm like, oh hi. I'm like, whoa, and it said Frankenmuth, Michigan, KKK. I'm like, whoa, and they like.
Yeah, Michigan. Like we live. I am glad we live in Ann Arbor because. And like I think Michigan's a red state, but Ann Arbor is like the liberalist.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody that's liberal just lives there.
Like, I mean, we go to the most liberal school, but like the diversity rate is like nothing.
There's like, yeah, I feel what you mean on that one.
But so I'm actually gonna look this up again. It's like KKK.com. And the whole thing is supposed to be like, oh no, it's like checking your browser before accessing KKK.com. Oh, wait, I have to read that again because it said something about like DDoS protection. Because you know what's been happening? Anonymous has been fucking with them a lot. Like, so, Anonymous, I'll get back to them later. But,
they're like the real Illuminati. It's like they're really fucking creepy. It's like it's interesting, although it's like an interesting kind of creepy. It's like I really want to know what's under those masks.
Let's not piss them off.
Oh yeah,
but,
it's not.
I just actually, you know what? We can do whatever the hell we want. It's fucking YouTube, bitch. What you gonna do? DDoS YouTube? No, but I have a level of respect for about half of them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because Anonymous does like good things sometimes.
No, because like a part like some of the members of Anonymous are actually doing some pretty cool shit. Like, you know, fucking with like stuff like the KKK and the Westboro Baptist Church by like replacing their websites with like gay porn and hacking their Twitters and shit. But then, so I think that part's pretty cool. But then there's also like just the 12-year-olds who kind of know how to use CMD, like the Windows command prompt, and think that because they know how to DDoS, they're the fucking kings of the internet. And so they'll just like spend most of their time like taking down small websites because they can. And it's just, and then they say they're part of Anonymous, like, no, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm just some fucking cool cyber terrorist. Fuck you!
You just involve it all.
Oh yeah, I took down a local bread store. Take that, society!
They can't sell their Parmesan bread anymore, motherfucker! Now you're gonna see the Illuminati side.
Back to the KKK website. This is like the funniest fucking But the KKK website, like the top picture is like this banner that says like, welcome to the Ku Klux Klan, the Knights Party USA, loving our family, and it's like this American flag that shows this like happy white family with two like little
Yeah, I said,
blonde
blonde
daughters.
hair, blue-eyed daughter.
And Jesus Christ, it's
Picture of the
like
church in the background.
yeah, but the main thing on the page is like, America, our nation is under judgment from God.
fuck?
And then there's like this big old quote like, there is a race war against whites, but our people, my white brothers and sisters, will stay committed to a non-violent
Holy
resolution.
crap, okay, it's non-violent, like...
Non-violent? Shut the fuck up! What the fuck do you
Yeah.
think, like, lynching and
Exactly,
shit
non-violent,
is?
putting someone on the back of a truck and dragging them throughout the streets till like your fucking arms get dislocated and like, they fall off and bleed to death. I mean, oh my god, that's like so peaceful, right? Or like, wrapping them in
Oh,
a blanket
totally.
and throwing them into a river so they drown. That's also really... Or burn them on a cross.
It says shit like what we do is not an act of hate, but an act of love.
So
Shut the
weird.
fuck-
And when they see one black person, they just freak out like, oh my god, getting the brothers here, we're gonna take this one guy, this one guy, just saw him riding his bicycle, get people out so they could like, throw a rock in front of him so they could break his neck and drag him. It's like, oh my gosh, that's one person, like, holy shit. Don't freak out.
And there's like all these stories about like horrible shit going on, like every 28
Oh yeah,
hours,
really.
a black dude is shot by a cop for no reason. Or
Or
maybe for some reason, I don't know. I heard the statistic today in class, but like, shit, like there's the whole Ferguson crap, which is just terrible. I think it's like really bad. The whole situation
same.
about like, cause I mean, while that's going on, more black people are
Exactly,
being killed
yeah.
by cops for like no, or at least close to no reason. Like, in government class, we end up talking about, like, random stuff. Or, I mean, kind of related stuff. But, I heard that, like, recently, a fucking another act of police brutality happened in, like, New York.
Yeah.
Where, like, there was this, I think 48-year-old black man who was, like, trying...
I was gonna say, here's the example. Yeah, they all strangled him to death. I remember hearing that one.
Yeah, strangled him to death.
Like,
And there are a
wow.
bunch of videos
Yeah, I
of
saw
it.
the video on YouTube.
But-
I was like, really like, wow, that's just...
I mean, I'm upset, but not really surprised, because New York was, like, the home of fucking stop and
Exactly.
frisk. Do you remember hearing about that? Cause like, I heard about that a little while ago, where basically officers could just, like, stop anyone who looks suspicious, aka those minorities, and frisk the shit out of them. And, like, I saw it on this one show, I forget what it was called, but it was, like, this really funny black comedian on Comedy Central. And so he did this skit that was, like, fun stuff to have in your pockets while, being frisked. Like, tips for black people in New York. And it was stuff like, carry around mashed potatoes in your pockets just in case you look suspicious. And then, like, the police will, like, reach in your pocket and be like, what the fuck?
Mashed potatoes.
So, I mean, the whole everything just...
Yeah, I know. And that one especially, that guy was a grandfather and he had 6 grandchildren, and he was just breaking up a fight. Like, literally in the video, he just comes up and says, "Hey guys, please stop it." And they all go after him, and the other guys just flee and they just strangle him. And the next thing I saw was just the body laying on the ground. I'm like, wow. And people are like, "Drop the cameras, get away." It's like, no, don't stay there, film. But I would run, because I would be afraid they would beat me down next if I didn't turn off my damn camera, knowing that what they just did. I'd be fucking horrified. But yeah. But I think I have to go real quick to get some chow.
Alright, cool, I'll stop the recording here.
And yeah, thank you. This is actually really awesome. I was gonna do radio. Radio wasn't working. Podcast next best thing. Jordan, one of my greatest friends. This is great. Works out just perfectly. Perfect.
Oh, cool.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show again.